So the next person that is on my list here is Dennis DeSanto.
Hi. Hi. My name is Dennis DeSanto. I'm currently the president of the UOA. First of all, I want to say that there is more than 40 families that want this. We turned in a petition with 56% of the assessed values back on September 7th, and since then I think we turned in at least another 15 names, so it's well above 40 homes. The goal of the people who are interested in that want this is it really comes down very simple. Like most parks that have been created throughout the history of this country, like the national park system that was developed in the early 1900s, the goal is to preserve, protect, maintain, and enjoy the natural resources of our country. And all we want to do in Shenorock is the same. We want to preserve, protect, maintain, and enjoy our natural, what we consider our most natural resources, which is Shenorock Lake. My family moved up to Shenorock Lake when in 1965. At that time, I had two lakes that I could fish in: Catfish Lake, which is no longer there, and Shenorock Lake. When I moved back to Shenorock as an adult, Catfish Lake was gone. I guess it's just a puddle now. It was off of Orchard Drive, basically because there was no maintenance plan, and there was no plan to maintain it throughout the year, so it dried up. But as an adult, I would go down there every summer, and I would fish there, and I enjoyed it. And anyone that fishes in Lake Shenorock knows it used to be a haven for bass, and there was a time when it was normal to pull 3-4 pound bass out of there. And but each year I would see it decline, and I would see it become more shallow and less clear. And one summer I went down there and I noticed that there were no frogs, and that really got me to thinking, where are all the frogs? Where they're gone? So I started doing a little bit of research, and I found out that as the lake begins to die, as it begins to be turned into a eutrophic lake, one of the first things to go is the frogs. So at that point, I made a decision that I would be apathetic to the community around me and do nothing and watch the lake to continue to decline, or I would be proactive to my surroundings, and I would try to get involved and try to help out. So it was that point that I joined a UOA, and since that point we've had to focus to try to do something with Lake Shenorock and try to reverse the cycle of a lake that was dying. I became trained as a New York State Lake Assessor for the Federation of Lake Associations, and every 2 weeks go out and take water samples, send them up to the state. And I started meeting and talking to a lot of experts on lakes, and everything that came back to us was you need to form a park district, and it was recommended by the New York State Federation of Lake Associations, which also placed us on the impaired water bodies list, that we become a district in order to get the funding, because the government, the state government, the federal government, the government is not going to bail us out. Shenorock needs to bail itself out. We need to bail out our own surroundings. So everyone I talked to, everything I read, and even going back to minutes in a UOA that went back to the early 80s, everything led to becoming a park district. So, again, at that point, we had a decision to make. Either we were going to do nothing and be apathetic and continue to talk about a park district for the next 30 years while Shenorock continued to decline, or we were going to move forward and try to become, move forward and become a park district. So, that's what's brought us to this point. We did do a petition which has well over 400 signatures to the best of my knowledge. Along the way in this process, there was something else that happened that I really wasn't expecting or wasn't thinking about, because again, my focus was always trying to make Shenorock Lake viable for use. But I got to know my neighbors, I got to know my community, and I think that the community really has come together and to work together on this. So I think it's also moving forward at Shenorock as a community, and that's a positive thing that's come out of this. I just have one more thing. I did ask a person from Clean Flow here, Jack Moselle, to come, who, if you want to raise your hand, he's from Clean Flow, and if anyone has any questions about that, he could he could answer it. And the only question I have is, when exactly will the petition be verified?
I spoke with the assessor today, and he tells me he thinks he'll have, within the next 2 weeks, he'll be able to ascertain the status of the petition. So he said 2 weeks. He's preparing an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, he wants to make sure it's accurate. So, and it's not his only task.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.